Welcome to the Cape Information Technology IA walkthrough done by me, Mr. Charles. This video in somehow, some way is going to help you with your journey through your Cape Information Technology IA, either Unit 1 or Unit 2. Just to let you know, the sources of all the information that are inside this video were sourced from 1, the official syllabus, which you will see a link in the description for, 2, the examiner's reports for the old syllabus, because that has a treasure trove of information about how they mark the IAs, and 3, 10 plus years of experience teaching Cape Information Technology and submitting IAs every single year. So, first of all, enjoy. I hope the information helps you. And second of all, I am not your teacher. This is a guide. And because it's a guide, I will give some best practices that I would have seen in the different sources and things that I would have done myself. But if your teacher requires you to do something different, please listen to your teacher, but also read the syllabus and read the examiner's reports. And I hope that you do well in your Cape ITI. Alright, welcome to the second video. And in this video today, we're going to be going through the problem definition and the Gantt chart, right? So we're going to go through the problem definition. And first of all, I want to show you the snippet from the 2011 examiner's report. I believe that is said about the problem definition. Usually they say the same thing every year, but I think this one was the most wholesome out of all of them. So I'll just read it out for you all, and I'll show you on the screen, right? Full marks were awarded for a complete and accurate description of the problem identified. Students who gained full marks in this section provided a background that established the context within which the problem occurred. From this background, the moderator was able to determine who the problem affected, the nature of the problem, whether it be performance, information, efficiency, control or security, its undesirable effects, and who was seeking the solution. Students who scored poorly lacked clarity in how they presented the problem statement. They only provided information regarding the context of the problem by stating causes of the problem as opposed to the effects on the individuals or organizations. Additionally, some of the problem definitions were too wide in scope. As a result, failed to effectively focus on the major problem. In addition, many candidates included solutions within their problem definition that gave bias that was evident throughout the project. So what you want to realize is that a problem definition is supposed to have 4 major things. The 4 major things would be the who is being affected, the nature of the problem, and the nature of the problem could be one of 4 things: a performance problem, information problem, efficiency problem, or control or security problem. Then the next 2 things that you're supposed to have would be undesirable effects and who is seeking the solution. So when you craft your problem statement, it doesn't have to be super long, doesn't have to be 3 paragraphs long. It could be 1 paragraph. And what you would see in the examiner's report is that they just want to get those major things inside. Once they get those major things inside, you will be able to get your marks. So we're going to try to craft a problem definition for a problem that I'm going to hypothetically create. And from that hypothetical creation of the problem, I'm going to be using it to solve all the way down, right? So I'm going to be using a school cafeteria system. Yeah. So I'm going to be using a school cafeteria system. The reason I'm able to use a school cafeteria system is because 1, I told you, you should get things that are close to you. So your school cafeteria system is a good place to start because you most likely would be able to get the data there. So try to find places where you could get the real information. And this example affords me the ability to do 1 or 2 things. I'm able to create a website from this or create a database from it. But I'm going to be going down the website route in terms of this particular Unit 1 IA, but when we get to the Unit 2 videos, you'll see how I will be able to twist it to be able to turn it into a database just for that purpose only. But in this case, we're going to go down the route of a website, but we're not actually going to build a website because remember I told you all in Unit 1, all you are doing is you're selecting a solution, but you're not actually going to put it into place until Unit 2. So let's jump into how we will do our problem definition. I want to do this problem definition and I want it to be clear to the examiner that I have the things that they require. One of the easiest things to do is to create a little checklist to kind of be like, alright, let me see if I covered all the things. So I'm going to put a checklist of the things that they look for. They're going to look for who is affected. Right? Now, this is not going to make it into your actual document, but I'm going to just put it here so you can see. who is affected, nature of the problem, and then undesirable effects, and then who is seeking the solution. Right. Now notice that they warned you of not trying to make the scope too wide. Basically, you're trying to find one problem. The one problem that you're trying to find is basically what you're going to solve in the end by building the website or the database. But as I said, we're going down the website route here. We're going down the website route. And yes, so let's take this one problem. So who is affected? You want to start off by saying something like students of Scholars High, no, students of Make It Simple High often go to the school cafeteria and they complain about various issues. One of the issues is that they don't know the menu for that particular day, and they have to spend long amounts of time reading what is written on the chalkboard outside the cafeteria. This leads to long lines and disgruntled students, disgruntled patrons. The management of the cafeteria is looking for a solution to this problem. Right, so what you there, aside from the typos, thanks Google Docs, spend a long amount of time, very good. So what you there, let's see what we have. Do we have who is affected? Yes, we have students of Make It Simple TT high school. Right, students of Make It Simple TT high school, right, often have to go to the school cafeteria. So you can clearly see they are the ones that are having the problem. Cool, good. They complain about various issues. So we're showing that there are various issues, but we're clearly showing that one of the issues. Now you notice in the examiner's report, they always tell you, make sure you narrow it down, don't make it too wide, make sure you could clearly say what the actual problem is. That's what they're asking you to do. So one of the issues is that they don't know the menu. So you can clearly see the type of problem or the nature of the problem is an information problem. They don't get the information. If they don't get the information, then you need to find a way to get the information to them easier. Now you can kind of see how I already going on the road of our website, because basically what we want to do is create a website that will have the updated information. So it shows that there is an information problem because they don't know the menu for that particular day and they have to spend a long amount of time reading what is written on the chalkboard. So the long amount of time reading on the chalkboard is the undesirable effect. So you can see that there one time. And then it leads to long lines and disgruntled patrons. So we also have more undesirable effects. And then you can see the management of the cafeteria is looking for a solution to this problem, which is who is seeking the solution. So in terms of the mark scheme, you have the 2 marks that you need to get here because you clearly have each one of those things inside there. Now, according to the mark scheme, this is 2 marks. How are they going to give you the 2? How are they going to give you the 2 marks? I don't know. I don't know if you have 3 out of the 4, if they will give you 1 mark. If you have 1 out of the 4, if you'll get 1 mark. If you have, well, of course, if you have all 4, you'll get 2 marks. So I'm not too sure. Now, one of the things that they state sometimes in the other examiners' reports is about context. It's supposed to give you the context of what is taking place. Now, from this one paragraph here, you have the context. There's a cafeteria, there's a problem. The problem is that they can't get the information. They can't get the information, it causes a problem. Therefore, they have to try to fix it. So that's where we at. And that is a problem definition according to the examiner's report and the standard that they have set. And I've been doing problem definitions like this for 10 years, never got a bad report. But we wouldn't talk about CXC sending back reports to teachers because they're notorious. I probably get a few reports in the early days I'm teaching, but after that, we don't really get back any feedback to say, how was your examiner's report? How was your SB? How your SB is done? Your IA is done? But nobody ever get marked down, right, from my teaching, and this seems to work. Other teachers I talk to and teachers that mark, they usually try to get it as succinct as possible. And if you read through the examiner's report, which will be in the description of this video, and the syllabus in the description of the video also, you'll be able to see that this is what they look for. So I'm going to take this off because I don't want to actually put this here. I was just using this as a guideline to show, okay, cool. That's what. Now, you notice because we formatted everything already. Wait. Oh my goodness. The double spacing didn't apply. Okay, let me just put it as double spacing one time. Double spaced. Right, so I'm putting it as double space and I'm going to go to format and change the normal text, update it to that. Right, so everything will be double spaced from now on. Right, so that's our problem definition. And once you follow those guidelines or follow those rules for your problem definition, I don't think you could lose. I've seen students have problem definitions with like 4 paragraphs. Some teachers ask for that. I just let you know, if your teacher asks for something, give your teacher what they ask for, because I am not your teacher. But if you want to fight it down and tell your teacher, listen, this is not what the syllabus requires, then you can take the documents that's in the description and use that as your argument. But don't tell them I sent you. If you tell them I sent you, I'll deny all knowledge of you. Actually, I don't even know who you are, but whatever. Good. Problem definition. That's it there. So let's move on to the Gantt chart now, and I'll show you all a simple program that could get the Gantt chart done for you very easily. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video and you're going through it and you're enjoying the knowledge that you're getting and you're learning things that you didn't learn before. But if there's some things that you're still not too sure about, or you may not be getting the help that you need because of the type of project that you're doing, you could check us out, and we do have dedicated IA assistance classes where Mr. Charles, well, me, I will give you personal help for whatever you may need, because you just may not be too sure depending on your situation. Some people may be doing it on their own, some people may not have a teacher, some people may not be able to go to school. So you could check us out, WhatsApp 1-868-308-8799, or you could go to the website makeITsimpleTT.com/register. Okay, so let's go through the Gantt chart, and I'm going to start off by going through a snippet from the examiner's report again, just to remind you all that all this is based on real information that they gave feedback on the examiner's report. Link in the description for it, okay? Alright, students should be encouraged to use appropriate productivity tools to produce the chart instead of drawing them manually. The charts should provide a true reflection of the life of the project, including the documentation stage that deals with the actual printing, compilation, and binding of the project. The units should be clearly defined and applied consistently across tasks. Now, this would have been a snippet from 2014. Now, back in 2014, way back when, right? We used to have to print out the we used to have to print out the IA and bind it and put like a folder and put it in an envelope and mail it to CXC and whatnot. But now we just upload the PDF, right? So you would see that and you would think, okay, that it should have realistic timelines, including documentation. The documentation part, which is actually typing out the document, printing it and binding it, used to have to be a part of the Gantt chart, but not anymore, right? So we're going to put in the things that are necessary for the actual carrying out of the project. So watch what is important. So we're basically using the layout from the syllabus and we're going to create the Gantt chart. Now, this software that I'm using here is called Gantt Project, and it is a free software that I've been using for years. There are some other pretty ones out there, like whatnot, but usually you have to pay for them and thing, right? So I'll put a link to it in the description. You could download that, you could use this one. If you want, you could use another one. Like you could use Excel if you want. You could use a spreadsheet and put it in, right? It's just that when you use a spreadsheet, you have to put things in let's call this manually. So you have to put in the dates manually. This software here kind of makes it easier for you, because once you put the start date and the end date, it will automatically create the bar for you. So I rather use this because it's been working for all my teacher life. There are other solutions out there. I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting you. If there's a better one, leave a message in the comments and I'll probably check it out, and maybe I might start using it. But I don't like the ones where you have to pay for, or it's a trial version or anything like that. This is free. This is just work, right? So with a Gantt chart, what you're trying to do is you're trying to map out the steps in the project. Mapping out the steps in the project is literally following what the project requires you to do. So how do you do it? Well, yes, open up Gantt charts, Gantt project, and then you right click on inside here and you put in new task, right? So when you click new task, it will ask you what is the name of the task. We're going to name this task problem definition. And there will be a begin date and an end date. Now I strongly recommend, because I'm doing this in December 2021, that you set your begin and end date to be realistic. So I want to change the begin and end date to usually I start my students coming in like in September, so from like October the first week in October, we usually start the IA and I explain the problem definition. So we start the problem definition from the 4th of October. The end date is usually takes a week for you to come in with your problem definition. So I'll put 1 week. No. Alright, so you're putting in 7 days, right? So once I put that in, you will see the bar will automatically change and it moves to October. I'll zoom out so you can see, zoom out. Right, so you see problem definition, it's already there and it's already labeled on top. So the problem definition starts on the 1st of the 4th of October and then goes to the 12th, right? So you could wait for 1 week, you could wait for 2 weeks, whatever, depends on how long you actually take, but it doesn't take more than a week for you to come up with a problem definition. Well, at least when I'm teaching, right? So our next thing will be the analysis. Now in the analysis, I'm going to put new task and I'm going to name this task analysis. ENALYSIS. Now, analysis could be long, so I'm going to show you why analysis could be long, because when you do your analysis, we'll get it in the next video, you usually break it down into 3 fact-finding techniques. Out of there are 4 that you could use, which would be questionnaires, interviews, observations, and review of documents. So I'm going to show you how to put them in. For this example, I'm going to use 3. More than likely, you're going to be required to use 3 because that's what the IA requires. If you can use 4, actually no, for this example, I'll put all 4 in and I'll show you how the timeline should look. So if I put a new task and under analysis, the first one is going to be questionnaire. Then I'll put next task, which will be interviews. Then I'll put next task, which will be observation or review of documents. Don't worry, we'll deal with all of these in the next video. And then I'm going to put in, after review of documents, like observation. Right. Now each one of these is supposed to follow each other. But the thing is, all of them fall under analysis. So I'm going to show you that questionnaire falls under analysis, and in order to show that it falls under analysis, we're going to indent it. So when you indent it, analysis now has 4 things inside of it. So if we indent each one of them, you will see that now all of them fall under analysis. Now, because the problem definition goes straight into analysis, all I have to do is click on the bar with the problem definition. I could change the dates manually, I could, but the good thing about this software is if you click on it, it will give you a little arrow. If you take the arrow and you drop it on top another one, it will basically carry it along. And then if I show that, okay, for the analysis, questionnaire is going to follow interviews. Interviews is going to go to review of documents, and then review of documents is going to go to observation. Yeah. One of the things that I've seen in the examiner's report all the time is that they don't want the Gantt chart to be a table. They want it to actually be a chart. So this gives you the table view on the left hand side, and then it gives you the chart view. Now, my issue now is going to be timing. So if I say that the questionnaire is going to take a particular amount of time, I could just go and take the bar and drag the bar along and see, okay, questionnaires usually take about 2 weeks to create it and then send it out. Notice everything just follows one time. So, well, however long it takes the questionnaires to go, it will just carry the timeline appropriately. Questionnaires, usually 1 week for you to come up with your questions, have them vetted by a teacher, and then the second week you give them out. When you give them out, you, of course, we're going to be doing it virtually. So you're giving it out using Google Forms, and you get back the graphs one time. So that's 2 weeks there, right? Interviews, you usually have to go and take time to talk to actual people. So we just give interviews on a 2 weeks also. So we push interviews down, review your documents, follows it one time. Then I continue again. Review of documents. Review of documents requires you to go and get actual documents, make copies of them, redact them, highlight the things that you want to, all that stuff. So review of documents, I just wait for 2 weeks again, right? Putting it for 2 weeks is safe because the timelines must be realistic. Now, some schools or some students, some teachers, they start their IA in January. If you start your IA in January, you may end up having an overlap of these things because you're doing them all at the same time. But the syllabus clearly recommends that you space it out, and I strongly recommend that you space it out too. But if you're one of those that starts the IA late, you're going to have to put the realistic timelines. You may have to overlap these, and then you'll have to go on the side here and edit the dates themselves. So the arrows won't look like a cascading waterfall as you may want them to. But that's okay, right? But in my case, we started in October, and we're trying to get this done by the end of February, right? So observation. Observation requires you to actually go and observe things. Notice we're in December here. So I want to try to get this done before Christmas. Most of the time I try to get it done before Christmas. So we want to take the observation and get it done to like the week before Christmas. Another 2 weeks. Now what you'll realize is that the Gantt chart now is taking form, and they already catered for weekends already, right? So if I zoom out enough, you will see that it looks like this. So problem definition goes into analysis. Analysis is broken up into 4 things: questionnaire, interviews, review of documents, and observation. However, you only require 3 of these to get the 3 marks for analysis. So whichever 3 you use, it wouldn't be as big as this. But if you're doing all 4, that's okay. Nobody has an issue with you, nobody vexed. And just to show you that it could overlap, if I were to take observation and go on this side, I could make observation wider, and it will try to overlap, but it didn't work there. So you probably ought to go and change it on the timeline. But it's a lot easier if you do it like this. Way easier, right? So after observation, my next thing, now these are the actual practical things they have to do. Everything else is more documentation stuff. So we're going to add in a new task. And the next task is, after analysis, we're going to do identification of possible solutions. Then after that, we're going to do evaluation of possible solutions. And then we have selection of solution. We have selection and justification. So then we have selection of solution and then justification of solution. Justification of solution. And then the last part, you're going to put in document preparation, because that is the actual thing that you're going to be doing, and we have to track it as if it's an actual thing. So to save myself the trouble now, I'm going to zoom out and just drag the arrows on top of them and then change the timelines after. So observation is going to land on identification of possible solutions. Identification of possible solutions is really small. I'm going to have to zoom in to get to see it. See if I can get, yeah, identification of possible solutions. You ain't taking more than a week to do that, so to give yourself a week. Yeah, because you're coming up with just some possible solutions. After identification of possible solutions, you have to see if I can get these arrows to drop properly. Select a solution. Evaluate possible solutions. Oh, yeah. The zoom in and out here is a little clunky because as you realize the program kind of dated. But it works. It works. Come on. Right. You go there. Yeah, I promise you. I know how to use a mouse. I promise you. Come on. Right. Yeah. Right, so now we just have to change the timelines for these. So evaluation of possible solutions. Usually students take about 2 weeks for that because you have to do like some sort of research and thing. So I'll give it like 2 to 3 weeks, no problem. And then selection of solution doesn't really take that long. That's 1 week max. Justification of solution doesn't take that long. Usually students have problems with that, so I'll usually give her 2 weeks because they have to do the justifications and I'll send them back to fix it and all that kind of stuff. And then document preparation is literally go to the end of the month of February. No, of February. Yeah, somewhere around there, right? At the start of March, basically. So what you would get is you would get a little layout. Let me see if I can zoom back out here. Right, so you'll get a little layout of the whole problem from start to finish with realistic timelines. Now your teacher is supposed to guide you to the realistic timelines. These are as realistic as I've come across, which is problem definition. 1 week, we explain the whole idea to you, come up with your problem definition, you bring it back, I tell you yes, okay, cool, no problem, we could use that, good, as one of my teachers do. Then you do your fact-finding techniques, which will be your analysis. Now notice I have indented them to show that they are part of the analysis. And when we do the table of contents, we will indent these parts: questionnaire, interviews, review of documents, and we'll indent all of them. As I said, you don't have to do all 4 of them. If you can do all 4, better for you, because you'll be almost sure that you'll get 3 marks, because if one of them doesn't meet the standard, you will still get it. So questionnaire, interviews, review of documents, observation, all of them fall under analysis, so this looks kind of neat. Then you have identification of possible solutions, evaluation, selection, justification, and then document preparation. Document preparation is realistically longer because you usually have to spend time making sure you put the cover page properly, making sure they're numbered properly, making sure the font and all those things are laid out neatly, doing your references, all those things. You usually don't want to waste the opportunity to get those 2 free marks. Those 2 free marks are like gold. So you want to take that. And once you've done that, now you have your Gantt chart. Now, how do we get this into our document? Well, there are 2 ways that you could do it. One is you print screen the whole page and then you try to crop it. But from what I have experienced in the past, is kind of get ugly. So you want to zoom in as much as possible to see all of the parts, right? As much as possible to see if you can get everything to fit. If you can't get everything to fit, that's okay. Just zoom enough so that you'll be able to see all this stuff, right? And I usually kind of put it close to like this. So you can see the dates on top here, and I'll give you the dates. Now to do the print screen, Control Shift and S, and you'll get the snipping tool, right? First thing I normally do is select this section here, just with the name of the part and the times. This here shows that you took the time to like collect the dates and timelines properly. So then you go to your document. Where's my document? Document is here. Right, and I'm going to go and I'm going to put in the first part, which is this here. So this will become out kind of big, and they will clearly be able to see that. The next thing now I'm going to do is I'm going to snip the next part, which is the actual chart itself. So I'm starting from this corner here, which will be 2021, all the way over to 2022, and then the last bit there. Now, when you paste this in, it's possible that it will look kind of clunky because it will look small. But the good thing is, you have the layout with the begin date and end date here, And then you have this here showing each one of them. And if the teacher needs to look closely, they could zoom in and they will see the dates on top here. Now sometimes students take this picture and turn it sideways. If you're going to do that turn it sideways thing, go ahead. But I don't know, you might end up hurting yourself if you do that, because I'm gonna show you what will happen. You'll try to do something like this, and it will go to our next page, and the Gantt chart will be sideways. But it doesn't really make it any more visible because it's a snip. So it's not really gonna make a big difference, because you literally can't make it any bigger. So I just put it like that. But the thing is, you have the parts here to be able to get the 2 marks that are necessary for the Gantt chart, which is the Gantt chart must be able to show exactly what the stages are, and the timelines must be realistic. So you have the timelines clearly stated, and then you have the chart that was made from it. Once you're there, you're good to go. And that would be your Gantt chart. So far we've worked for 4 marks of the IA so far. A problem definition as neat and tight, and then a Gantt chart that shows the dates realistically and well laid out, with the arrows cascading onto each other and each of the blocks is labeled. So in our next video, we're going to be going through the most difficult part, which is the analysis. It's not difficult to type it up, but it's difficult for you to do it properly, because you don't want to plan your analysis wrong, go and do it wrong, and then you come back with bad data, because then you'll have to do it over. So the analysis section has a lot of planning and preparation. So next video, we'll do the analysis. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it helped you a lot. Remember, there are multiple videos that go through each different part of the IA in detail. So if you want a particular part that you're looking for, you could check the playlist. The playlist link will be in the bottom here. If you're using the app, you can check in the app and you will see the playlist for it also, to show you all the parts that are necessary. If you're looking for quality information technology and computer science classes at the CAPE level, you can check us out, makeITsimpleTT, at 1-868-308-8799, or you can check us online at makeITsimpleTT.com/register and use all of our free resources. But if you're looking for a class that has recordings and explanations for every single thing that you need to do in the whole syllabus, you can check us out.